And now he's muted. Woohoo! We're doing this great. I don't even know what the noise I tried to make was. I tried to just go, eh! The mic picked it up then. Okay. I turned the music down a little bit and I moved my mic a little bit closer. I don't know if that's any better. I don't know what would have changed from last time though. If it's quieter. I don't know why. I also moved my chair and now I can't figure out where it was properly. Am I still quiet? Am I good? I also don't want to turn up the audio levels though, because I have a problem with not acknowledging how loud I'm actually talking. So if I end up just talking louder and louder and louder, it's just because that's the thing I normally end up doing anyway. Because half of the time, well, a lot of the time, halfway through a conversation, someone will have to tell me, hey, you're yelling, and I'm like, I'm not yelling, I'm just talking. Good, we good. Dude, it's been getting, like, hotter and hotter here, even though it's supposed to be turning into fall? What's after summer? Fall. It's supposed to be turning into fall, so it's supposed to be getting colder, but it's still, like, really warm here, because it's Australia, obviously. But we're also coming off the tail end of mosquito season, and it feels like every single time I step outside for 2 seconds, I get bit by a mosquito. Like, I'll go outside to pick up the mail or something, and I'll come back in and I'll have a new bug bite. That's insane. Watching the computer this time instead of my mobile telephone. Oof. Oh my god. Shoka, you always end up getting caught by automod somehow. Which is weird. Dude, calling it a mobile telephone is so just like... It's so old man, Adam. Dude, it's like calling it a landline. I don't really know people that still use the term landline. I know people who say like home phone, but I can't think of landline. Even in like my office where we had actual landlines that were plugged into the wall, people would just say like, "Oh, call me on my extension," or like my desk phone. No one uses the term landline anymore here. Technology hates me. Dude, the vending machine hates you. Twitch apparently hates you. I know autocorrect hates to see you coming. Is there, like, a technological piece of equipment that you're actually on friendly, decent terms with? Because I don't think that exists. Also, we talked about this last time with, the bunny ears. Like, because I like the bunny ears that are upright. That just stick up. But one, you can see right now already, it wouldn't fit in frame. And two, I feel like I would constantly run into doorways, or not run into doorways, but I do the thing where like I'm going up to a door and the door frame is like this and I just like get pulled back. Never get a robot girlfriend. Ooh. No, it's fine. It doesn't matter if it's a robot or not. They'll all end up hating you eventually at some point. That was mean. But no, wearing this hat on stream the other day and also just now, lot bunny ears are kind of growing on me. You're not that tall. Listen, if I got big Viera ears, I'd probably still hit the door frame. Because in Final Fantasy, the Viera ears go up to like... They're like this, aren't they? Why can't I line up my hands? I probably should line up my head. They're like this tall. I'd hit the door frame with that. Maybe. Reconvert. What do you mean reconverting? Okay, listen, in my defense, I've always had. Let me crop a photo. Oh, wait. I don't need to crop a photo because I think I literally just have the original photo to show you. I was gonna say, let me screenshot a photo off of something else and then crop it down, but I think I do just have the actual one. But I'm not reconverting into a furry. Thank you very much, Cowboy. Also, welcome in, Cowboy. But, this is gonna take me forever to find. Give me, like, 3 seconds. But I have had, like, pairs of ears in the past before, and I liked wearing them, because obviously as a cosplayer, you're going to inevitably end up buying fluffy ears. I'm just saying that as a fact at this point. if you cosplay, you will at some point end up buying furry ears from like someone who makes. Actually, there's a lot of people who don't even make them as part of fursuits anymore. They just make them as part of, like, you know, merchandise that you could purchase. But that dude, talk to someone who talk to a woman, especially who cosplays, and ask them if they have or are planning to at some point buy furry ears. The answer will be yes, just because of the even just the pure amount of characters nowadays, especially from like anime, manga, video games that have ears. Copium. It's not copium. Why can't I find I hate the new updates to the gallery, like the photo gallery on your phone, because it feels like I can't see half of my photos anymore. And these aren't new updates, actually. These are pretty old updates now that I think about it, but it still feels like I can't see anything. Like, why are they starting to hide your own files from you? Is anyone else experiencing that? Okay, wait, hold on. Dude, I used to... Ignore the editing. First of all, ignore the editing, because this is literally from 2019, because I went to Katsucon 2019. These are literally from 2019, so ignore the editing and my makeup. But I do own ears. I have owned them before. This isn't a new thing. I don't know where these are specifically. They're somewhere in my room. I found them the other week and then I lost them again. But I have owned them in the past. Look at it. They matched my hair and everything. Well, this is not my hair. That was a wig. But still, they match my hair color. I think at that point in time my actual hair was dyed blue, so they did not match my hair at the time. But they matched the wig. I almost bought a pair of fox ears as well one time because I was working on Prestige KDA Ari for a convention. Didn't end up going to that convention. I finished like 60% of the cosplay, but because our plans kind of fizzled out, I never ended up finishing it. So I didn't actually get to the point where I was buying the ears. But then again, man, this is back when they used to make the Prestige skins just all yellow/gold. So they were always blonde in the Prestige skins, pretty much. And I don't really like being blonde, but I was gonna do it anyway because I liked the skin, so... A lot of furry ears. Shoka, there's people who have, like, actual walls full of just furry ears. Okay? Me owning, like, 2 pairs is not bad at all. There's people who have, like, rods that are command hooked to the wall. You know, like clothing rods, kind of. And they just have a bunch of ear headbands on it. Just filling the entire wall with just rows and rows of the rods with ears. Because I've seen people who have it set up like that on, like, my TikTok and stuff. I've seen photos of people's rooms, and they have a setup like that with just a shit ton of ears. Like a hunter collecting animal heads. Oof. I don't remember if we did this on stream, but we were looking at Zillow listings. Oh, wait, actually, I think we did this on Evan's stream a couple years ago. But we were looking at weird Zillow listings, and there was this one house that was just full of taxidermied, like, game animals. It looked like when you walk into a Cabela's. That's what the entire house looked like. The foyer, all the, like, even a couple of, like, the bedrooms, the kitchen had, like, 8 deer heads just plastered all over the wall. It was so strange, and I don't think I could find it again because this was years ago. But imagine, like, that top display over the fish tank at, like, a Cabela's or an REI, where they have all those, like, taxidermy deer and bear, and I don't know if they're actual taxidermy, they're probably just stuffed, like, plushes. Like, over the big fish tank. Imagine that, but all over an entire house. I would not be able to sleep. I don't like, when we go to, like, seafood boils or, like, whatever, I don't like the heads being left on the shrimp because I don't like the way their little eyeballs are. Something about it. I don't like animals where their eyeballs are kind of bulging out of their head a little bit. That's what I've learned. I don't like baby seals. Those videos creep me out. I want to, like, punt it in the head. I don't like looking at it. I don't like anything with, like, bulging eyeballs. They freak me out. Also, I said that, and it was like a gif at very low opacity played in my head of Glenn's death from The Walking Dead. I just had it play in the back of my head like an echo when I was talking about bulging eyeballs, and I was just like, oh no. Oh no. That doesn't count. I mean, comic book accurate, but you hate to see it. I love hunting. I liked the, what is it, Big Game Hunt? Big Buck Hunt or whatever? The shooting arcade game that's always at like every outdoorsy store. I think it's Big Game Hunt. But they have one mode where you have to shoot deer and you get points taken away for shooting the female deer. But for some reason in my brain, just off of pure instinct, I was like auto-locking onto every single female deer on screen and just instantly like headshotting it like when a pixel would appear. And we got to the end score, all of them were female, not a single male deer. So I lost, but I don't know what that was about. My brain just decided, yeah, only the female deer are dying today, and then I just turned into a, you know, Agent 47 pro hitman. It's on Switch, but it sucks. I don't imagine those types of games would be any good without the actual, like, rifle controller. Maybe on a Wii, but the Wii motion stuff isn't that great, so maybe not. Big Buck Hunter? Wasn't there like a big game something? Female on female violence. Does it count if one of them is an animal though? If it's literally a deer, does that still count? You don't say male on male violence? Okay, maybe you do actually. I don't commonly hear it, but I imagine it is said. Cabela's Big Game Hunter. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of! We went to REI when I was like a little kid, but after we moved, Cabela's became like the main thing we'd be able to get to. You're both animals. Excuse you? I was gonna say mostly human, but that doesn't even make sense because how do you be mostly human? You either are or you aren't. At least in these current times. Cut to like 30 years from now when that's taken out of context and I'm, you know, on XW, whatever it ends up turning into later in the timeline, being blasted as like a speciesist. Do you think the name would ever change again? Because I think about that sometimes, and this was a thing back when like Achievement Hunter was a thing, and when they rebranded to only being Rooster Teeth. Maybe that's when it happened. They were on a podcast and they were talking about like all the people who had gotten tattoos of like the old logos for Achievement Hunter. And I think about that sometimes and I'm like, do you think someone was like a really big Twitter fan and got like the Twitter logo tattooed on them? And now it's just like a black X? Or even just with other things that change and rebrand in such big, like the original Sprite logo. All of these, like, new corporate modern logo designs. That's what I think about every time. Like, if someone was such a big fan of the old logo that they got it tattooed on them, like, sucks to be them, but, like, what are you gonna do? I really don't like a lot of the new modern redesigns. I think they're boring. They're boring, and it makes it difficult when you go to the store. If all of them look the same, it's hard to, like, it takes me too long in the store now because I have to figure out what's the off-brand and what's, like, the actual whatever. Like, walking down the Coke aisle where they have the big 2-liter bottles of Coca-Cola and, like, Pepsi and all that stuff. They're all, like, next to each other. But walking down, I stop where there's, you know, red labels and I'm like, oh, I just need a Coke. And then I'm looking at the wall and there's Coke, there's, like, a cola whatever, there's a K, there's literally a brand here that's like Q-U-E-K, and I have to figure out like which shelf the actual Coke is on. because they all just look the same if I'm just trying to get in and get out. Tattoo of your favorite content creator before they get canceled. Okay, maybe that's just a me problem though, where I'm just lazy and don't want to have to use the mental brain power to search for something. At least when I'm in a store. And sometimes I just stand there. Okay, I have two moods when I go grocery shopping. I'm either going there because I need something and I don't want to be there, so in which case I just want to get in, find the thing, and then leave. And then there's the times where like, yeah, I need stuff, but also I have nothing else to do. So I'll just walk through all the aisles and just kind of like look at snacks and look at whatever else I find. Which isn't a good thing, because a lot of times I end up buying snacks. So, part of the process. That was part of the reason as a kid we always went to go have lunch first. We would always do lunch and then the big grocery shop of the week/month. Because my mom always said, you don't go grocery shopping on an empty stomach or else you'll end up buying the whole store. And I still think about that sometimes. I love my Toby Turner cryotic tattoo. Dude, also, hello, Show Dreams! We're back! We're streaming twice a week now! Consistently! Pretty much only shorter streams of like, 2-3-ish hours maybe. Clock in for your shift, get some yapping done, and then leave. But what was it, Green, when, like, maybe a couple months ago, we were talking about something, and Tobuscus got mentioned, and we looked up what he was doing now, and we were like, oh my god. 2025, imagine not just ordering all your groceries online. Okay, to be fair, we do live in a somewhat more walkable city than you guys probably do, so it's easier for us to just go to the grocery store because it's a 5-minute walk from where we live. And even the one further away is like a 10-minute walk. So it's probably a lot easier for us. But yeah. I think it was something about his mother. No, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Maybe we were reacting to a tweet or something, but we checked out what he was up to now, and it was... like, we just had this moment of like... how much... did we skip chapters? Are we in an ultimate dimension? But it's also strange, because nowadays, content creation has a much lower barrier to entry. It's weird to sometimes see a friend in the wild, because one of Green Man's friends, or form of childhood friends, whatever, one of Green Man's childhood friends, haven't caught up with in a while. Recently, we were on TikTok, and we found his TikTok account, and we were like, well, I don't know him that well, so I didn't have too much of an opinion other than, like, on the actual content itself, which is a whole nother story. But Green Man was like, oh my god, what is this? It's so, like, bizarre and foreign. I block most of the people I know in real life. Most of the people I know in real life, I tend to just block them on social media. And I have a lot of my accounts set to, like, can't discover me by phone number, can't discover me by email, can't discover me by, like, mutual associations. I have all of those, like, turned off. So that, if someone has my number, like a coworker or something has my phone number, I'm not gonna get suggested to them. I hate when that happens, and I see it on my TikTok account where I get suggested people because I have their phone number, or they're like a friend on Facebook, and then, because of that and because they have it linked to their TikTok account, their TikTok gets, suggested to me to follow, and I'm like, I do check out their profile. I do cyber stalk them. But at the same time, I don't want any association with them. I use that feature to go onto their account, stalk them a little bit, and then block them. But again, maybe that's just me. And maybe that's a bit hypocritical that I cyber stalk them first. I have noticed this tends to be more common with, like, girls. At least from what I've noticed, is that we do a lot more just, like, social media, like, cyber stalk. It feels weird to keep calling it cyber stalking. Like, you know what I mean? Because when we would have conversations with coworkers and stuff, someone would hint at having, like, a new boyfriend or new girlfriend or something, and obviously be like, ooh, and try to find out shit. And, the guys would ask questions, or they just wouldn't care as much. Even the ones that did care, they would ask questions and try to, like, probe it out of them. But the girls, we all just pulled out our phone and started, like, looking at, you know, linked accounts and friendships and, like, interactions on their social media platform to, like, find the guy. Which is so much more effective than the guy just being, than the dudes in the office being like, so, what does he do for work? Can you give us a hint on what his name starts with? Just, like, poking and prodding. That's not working. See who's still alive and who has children. Oof. I found out one of the girls I went to middle school with, she had a baby? And then she had it, like, I don't know the full context, obviously, because this is just through her Facebook page that I was looking at all this stuff, but she had a kid, and from what I understand, almost got her kid taken away because she, like, left it in a car when she went to go shopping or something, or grocery shopping, and just left it in the car, in, like, a hot car. And her kid apparently almost died. At least from what I could gather off of Facebook. So, there's some wild connections. If they don't... Boy acquired. If they don't immediately give a straightforward answer, I don't care anymore. I still care a little bit. I mean, it depends on how they react. Obviously, if they react, like, super standoffishly or whatever, then, like, ugh. But if they're kind of, like, you know, jokey, obviously wanting you to ask more questions, then play along, I guess. Child equipped. Dude, I felt him brush against my leg and I locked on. Why is your mouth wet? Are you drooling? Were you drooling in your sleep? Hmm? Boy. This boy with his chipped tooth has been such a tumor at night. Every single night he sleeps between my legs or, like, near my legs, but not on the edge of the bed, towards the middle of the bed. Or at least he pushes me all the way towards Green's side because he somehow takes up so much room. Because he'll sleep horizontally. Like, imagine Twitch chat is the bed, right? This is, like, the pillows up here. This is, like, the foot of the bed. This is how, like, wide the bed is. He'll sleep, like, here, but he'll sleep, like, horizontally, like, and diagonally, like that. So my legs have to go, like, like this. My legs have to, like, curve around. Or I have to sleep diagonally in general. It's not great. It does not do great things for my back. But no matter how much I move, he'll just huff and then also move with me. So there's no escaping it. It's his bed at this point. It really is. Oh, big boy, big boy. You're being so nice today. Why are you being so docile? Are you sleepy? He's being very forgiving. I feel like at this point normally he would have already started wiggling and trying to get out. Right? Like, he doesn't let me hold him on stream this long. Is it because you're getting the scritch? Is it because you're getting the scritch? Oh, big boy, big boy. Big boy love him scritch. Oh, that's it. Sweet boy. Sweet boy, look at you. Oh. You want to scritch on this side? Oh my god, he's shedding so much fur over my hand. My hand is, like, covered in gray fur now. Big boy, big boy. He's also folded himself in half. Look at him. Look at how massive he is. He's actually losing weight, though. Because we weighed him yesterday and he was 5.9 kilos? He used to be like 6 point something, so he's losing weight. He's getting there. He's still fat, but he's not nearly as heavy. I think at one point he was almost 7 kilos. Right? But that was like a year ago, maybe. 2 years ago. But I feel like at one point he was definitely in the higher end of the 6s. Speaking of, hello 6, welcome! Okay, he immediately goes back to eating his kibble, as if I didn't just call him the fat. He stopped eating his kibble and he just stared me directly in the eye. But yeet! Show, welcome back to stream. We came back last week to... Last week? We came back last week, and we're streaming twice a week. Same time. American Sundays and Wednesdays. I don't know what time it is for the American time zone because my time zones are apparently extremely bad, and I don't know how to estimate things properly. But the schedule's down below. We're back twice a week, every week. Shorter slots. And we're just gonna be just chatting. Because we're not gonna be playing. Okay, we won't gonna be playing games. We won't gonna be. Huh. That's not how English works. We aren't gonna be playing games that consistently. But if there's a game that I do really want to play on stream, then obviously we'll play it. But most of the time I just want to yap. I want to yap and chat for like 2 hours. 3 hours. Depending on how much we end up chatting. Do you have to scratch at that now? Just yapping streams, just yapping streams. New title, just yapping. How did the word yap even become a thing? Because like, most of the time I catch the context for a lot of the internet stuff, and a lot of like the layered memeing, but I feel like I completely missed the origin of the word yapping and it was just suddenly everywhere. Sir? Can I help you? Come here. Come here. Oh, big boy. Look at this fat piece of lard. Oh. Do you guys ever touch like an animal? Maybe, or I'm not gonna say a small child, because I feel like children are a bit more durable, even more so than adults. But do you guys ever pet, like, an animal, and you can just feel how fragile they are? Maybe not actually physically feel it, but something about, like, when you're petting them, you're just like, oh my god, this thing is gonna, like, break. Is your model in the graveyard now? Not really. I mean, if we ever do, like, VR streams, we'll still use it. And obviously, she's still gonna be around as a mascot and everything. Because when I make characters in games, I do tend to still make them like a pink bunny girl, so. I could break you. It's not like oh, I could break you. It's more like a... I don't know. Because Green Man's cat, for example, his cat since childhood is obviously very old now, and has also broken his hips in the past. So he feels very fragile whenever you pet him. And I'm always like a little bit scared to pet him because I'm like, what if I pet this cat a little bit too hard and it just like evaporates into dust like Avengers Endgame? Like, sir? He just bit my toe like Avengers Endgame. It's that type of feeling where you're like, and like you don't really want to be petting it anymore. Like a chihuahua my grandmother had that I could fit my fingers around her waist. Yeah. And people are like, oh, pet the thing. And then you pet it, and it's nice for a little bit, but then you're just scared and worried. Like, you're worried something is gonna snap. Stop! Stop biting my toes! Get out of here! Dude, speaking of chihuahuas, I've seen some messed up chihuahuas, man. Okay, I just sent him out, and now you're gonna bring him back in. Literally just sent him out. Come on. Look, you got a chair. Up on chair. Up on chair. Good boy. You get one. You get one. Good boy. Empty. That's all. That's all. Empty. She died from a seizure. The chihuahua or your grandma? Shoka. Shoka. Man, chihuahuas are surprisingly durable for how tiny they are and how, like, annoying and yappy they are. Because my great-grandmother, or my great-grandparents, I should say, they had these two little chihuahuas, and one of them got its head, like, stuck in a door, or like the door closed and the chihuahua was trying to get in, so the door like closed on its head, and its snout was just like, it was just bent. It was fine health-wise, but they could never just get it straight again, so it was just bent. And she just lived like that for like 9 years, so, you know. Dog. Grandma's having issues right now, though. Hasn't made her nicer, though. Ugh. So Adam's response is basically dog, but... Never mind. I was gonna say dog, but grandmother soon to follow. That's not good. I mean, to be fair, and that's the thing that kind of sucks about getting older, you start to know more dead people, which isn't great. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I was thinking about this because, The Sims has a life and death pack now, where they added, you know, like family heirlooms, more graveyard features. I think you can actually have like a cemetery now, like a proper cemetery in The Sims. But they also added like wills and, you know, like passing things down and like money and assets and all that sort of thing. But then your Sims can also come back as ghosts and have like unfinished aspirations that they want to do, so you can help your Sim get those done so they can like pass on properly and not be sticking around as a ghost anymore. But I was thinking, like, man, wouldn't that kind of suck to be stuck here until you finish whatever your life's accomplishment was, or whatever your life goal was? So let's say like you had your life aspiration when they character created you was to, oh, I want to become a CEO of like a Fortune 500 country, and then you die and now you're stuck as a ghost. How are you going to get that done? How are you going to accomplish that? Too many people I went to school with, that's a completely different thing, Show. I think that's just because you're in that age bracket now. Hello, Bryce, welcome in. I know you're not actually that old, Show. But, you know, you're getting up there in the years. I don't really think anyone I went to school with, as far as I know, has died yet. As far as I know. I haven't caught up with a lot of them, and I don't have half of them added on any form of platform. But as far as I'm aware of, I don't think any of them have passed on yet, except one that did when I was also in middle school still. Can I have your opinion on something? I mean, you could ask. I don't know if I'll be able to answer. But when I was in middle school, and I think the gym teacher ended up getting fired for this. I can't remember. I feel like he should have gotten fired. But there was a kid who ended up... I don't think he died, but I think he had like a heart attack or something during gym class because the gym teacher kept pushing him so hard, and he got sent to the hospital. And then I think he died in the hospital. I don't think he died in gym class, or else they would have made a much bigger thing about it. Probably. But he got sent to the hospital because of gym class, and then ended up dying. But that was when we were still in middle school, and they had like a whole assembly about it, and like grief counselors at school for a couple weeks. Is it bad that you have intrusive thoughts? I want you to chug a bottle of ketchup and you're about to do it. Huh? Is it bad that I can't understand what you're trying to say. I mean, I have intrusive thoughts all the time. Some of them I do, some of them I don't end up doing. A really common intrusive thought I get a lot that I do end up doing is just biting green. Because sometimes we're just laying there, I'm like, really want to just bite flesh really hard. Right? Like, you just want to, like, chomp down. Not necessarily flesh, but just, you want a nice texture to bite into. So I'll just, like, turn to green. I'll just bite down on his arm really hard. I never break skin, don't worry. This isn't that type of thing. But, you know, sometimes you just want to, like, latch on. Not just you. Obviously not just me. Obviously not just me. You see this? That's not just me. This isn't some alt account. A lot of times I don't do them, though, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the intrusive thoughts I have would send me or someone else to a hospital, so... Best to leave those inside the head. The ones that make a mess, too. Because sometimes I have a thought when I'm putting away groceries, for example, and I'm just like, what if I just kind of, like, threw all these eggs on the ground? Obviously, I'm not going to do that. Eggs are expensive now, and also that would make a mess, and I don't want to have to clean that up. Half and half, like, most of the time, it's pretty much all of my intrusive thoughts. Eee. They do be like that. But I guess that's why they're considered intrusive, because they're not really things that you necessarily want to be thinking. Also, I am going to let you guys know that in about a minute and a half, according to my Twitch dashboard, an ad break is going to play, and I will use that ad break as a bathroom break, and you guys probably should too. If you need it, go get a snack, go to the bathroom. This is your government mandated break time in another minute. But, of course, if you're subbed, you don't get the ad, or if you have Twitch Turbo, you don't get the ad, so in which case you'll just be hanging out here by yourself with your own thoughts. The joys, dude, half the time I didn't even take my breaks when I was working in, like, corporate, and even in retail. Retail, I didn't take my breaks because I just didn't get to take my breaks at all. And then corporate, I just didn't take my breaks. Like, there was nothing I was gonna do anyway. I would just go on my phone for 15-30 minutes, and I would just sit there and enjoy silence and not being bothered by coworkers. That was my break time, genuinely. It was just a break from my coworkers. Doing nothing productive with it. I wasn't like, you know, going shopping or like eating a snack. I was just sitting there, blank slate, just on full dissociation mode for break time. And it was the best. Oh, he's back to loafing. Oh, I don't think you can see him when he loafs. Yeah, he's too low to the ground. Because when he's sitting up, you can normally see his head right here. But he's loafing, so he's not visible. I feel like I should get some kind of platform for him. Maybe not in this room. If we move, I'll get a, you know, I'll put a platform in the back or like a cat tree. He keeps breaking his cat trees, though. That's the thing. We have 2 cat trees for him now, and they were like expensive cat trees, and he's broken the tops off of both of them. Like the top little platform has just like, and snapped off completely. Because he's so fat, and he'll just sprint up them and, like, kick off the wall and everything. And obviously, every time he sprints, it's a lot of force just, like, rocking that top bit. But, you know, he's broken 2 of them now. We're not buying him a 3rd. At least not now. But, bathroom break! Do you guys ever feel like your phone battery isn't actually your phone battery? Because I feel like I'll be at, you know, about 100 to, like, 80-ish% for, like, 5 hours. Because, like, right now, noon, for example, I'll wake up at 7. I'll be using my phone all day. For this example. We'll get to, like, noon. I feel like I'm still at 80%. I look 80%. And then somehow, another 4 hours passes, and I'm down to, like, 20%, right? I feel like the speed to get to 80, it takes a much longer time than, like, you know, dropping suddenly down to, like, 20-30%. Is that like, a thing? Should I be worried about the state of my phone's battery? That it's doing that? I mean, to be fair, it's probably just because I'm not actually noticing the battery all that often. Or I'm not looking at the battery until it gets that low. You probably have shit running in the background, or it's an old phone. No, I think it's honestly probably just I'm blacking out. Like, I'm just not really acknowledging the fact that, yeah, it's been 4 hours. Because I always feel like... I feel like I use my phone consistently. But it's most likely a case of, you know, I'm doing... like, I'm on Twitter for the first few hours of the day, and then... You know, I check and it's at 80%, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I open it back up later, and then I'm on, like, TikTok for 3 hours. And that takes up a ton of battery. That's genuinely probably what it is, and I'm just not thinking about it that way. But in my head, they're showing you fake numbers. He just let out a little puff of air. He doesn't do it as much anymore, but when he didn't used to be able, I mean, he still doesn't purr. He purred a little bit coming back from the cat hotel, which was also really weird because he's never purred before. When he used to purr, it was just him with his mouth open and he was just kind of like breathing louder. Like he just turned into a mouth breather. If he felt happy, you know, the times when normal cats would purr. But then we got him back from the cat hotel and we were laying in bed and he was purring like a normal cat. It's like he learned how to purr from the other cats. He doesn't do it anymore now. It was literally a one-time event, I guess. But he was making a lot of weird noises coming back from the hotel. Like he was meowing like a normal cat. He was purring like a normal cat. He doesn't do any of that normally. When he meows here and in our house, it sounds like a small child just yelling. So I don't know what brainwashing they did to him, but he was a normal cat for like half a day that we had him back. And then he remembered, oh, I don't have to put on the skin suit here. Take off the skin suit? I don't know what the term would be. I guess put on, because in our home he's a normal human being. So when he leaves the house, he has to put back on the cat suit. There we go. Figured it out. Bro thinks he's human. The problem is that he knows he has more rights than us. Just in the house in general, he knows he has more authority. And he can get whatever he wants, so he doesn't care anymore. He genuinely doesn't care. But that's the difference with cats and dogs. With cats, it's their house. And with dogs, you know, you own a dog. Cats own you. Man, I kind of feel bad for cats though, because they're so small. Like, did I tell you guys that my parents adopted a cane corso? Which, if you don't know what cane corsos are, they're huge dogs. Like, they're gigantic. Like, the dog's head is probably bigger than my head for a lot of them. They're gigantic dogs. But my parents got a cane corso mix, not a purebred, but it's still a very big dog. And it was just playing with the cats. Like, they get along fine, decently enough. But it was just, you know, laying there, and the cat was, like, bullying it, like, trying to bat at it, whatever, because that's, my cats don't care about anything else. They'll bully anything. But they were trying to do that to the dog, and the dog, like, moved its head away, or just, like, moved its head to get the cat to stop, like, hitting it. And it just broke the cat's arm. Like, on accident. Like, that's insane. That's what, this links back to the thought of, like, sometimes when you're petting animals and you just feel like they're a little bit too fragile. I don't know. It makes me sad in a weird way. Is there a sports drink brand yet that started doing, like, just actual sippy cup tops? Because you have, like, the Powerade tops, which are, like, the, you know, push in, pull out, like, fountain squirty tops. But have any of them just started making legitimately just sippy cups? With, like, the straw that goes down? Maybe. I feel like it's a little counterproductive towards speed. Because isn't the whole point of these is that you can just really quickly just, like, squirt it into your mouth if you need to? No? Okay, Shoka. Well, it's a product idea. Not many people would use it, probably. There has to be someone, like at least one company, maybe even like an Etsy seller. There has to be someone that has made a hamster bottle, but for people. Because there's people that have made dog beds, but for people. Someone has to have made like a thing you can just mount next to your bed, and it has just a spout coming down, like sticking out towards your head. So then when you wake up at night and you're tired, you can just kind of like reach up and just like, you know, get a little bit of Get a little bit of water. You don't have to move. You don't have to grab anything. You just stretch your neck out a little bit. And there's the hamster bottle. Is that an insane idea? Like, does no one else kind of want that a little bit? Or is it just me? Okay, maybe I should have kept that thought inside. Maybe that should have been an inside thought. I think it would be very funny to have, though. But, counter argument. Imagine you walk into someone's house and you see that next to their bed. What would you think if you walked into some girl's house, or like some whoever you're hooking up with's house, and that's just mounted next to their bed? Do you leave at that point? Like, what happens there? Do you say something? Do you ask about it? Even if you, like, your friend, you're like, he's like, hey bro, I just got a new place, whatever, I decorated my living room. You wanna come, like, check it out or like see it for the first time? And you're like, yeah, sure, bring like a nice housewarming gift and everything. And then you get the tour of the bedroom and you just see your friend has that mounted next to their bed. They have a fetish. Okay, it's very obviously water in it. Most of the time those things are clear, so you can see that it's water, unless you, for some reason, your brain assumes it's lube, or I don't even know what other clear fluid someone would have next to their bed. But I would assume it's water, especially just the connotations of it being like one of those hamster things. I'd be like, oh, it's a hamster thing for water. And then I would be like, why do they have that there and why is it huge? Actually, the huge water bottles thing wouldn't surprise me anymore. Because, I don't know if you guys have seen, but Yeti, the brand Yeti, they have, like, big water things that just look like a gasoline tank. Because one of my coworkers, he meant to buy a smaller one, but didn't read, like, the liter size correctly, and he accidentally just bought it literally looks like a portable gasoline tank, and he bought it in bright red as well, which did not help. But it's like a mini cooler, like a jug. And people are using he bought it as an accident, but then he actually did like using it and just kept using it. But I've seen a lot of people, especially when I used to go to the gym, when I showed up to the gym. Now I just do stuff at home, but when I showed up to the gym, there was a lot of people there that had like massive water bottles as well. Is it just because you don't want to fill it up as quickly? Or you don't want to have to, like, keep going to fill it up? Is that the logic there? Because I feel like at some point, the water bottle gets too big, and it's just too annoying to have to pick it up. Because that's why I get these ones. There's, like, the 2-liter bottles, which are obviously twice the size of this. And yeah, they're a bit cheaper, but at that point, I just get a little bit tired when I have to pick it up when it's full. Because it's a little bit heavy. And maybe it's just because I'm weak, but it's, you know, it's a lot of liquid. And I don't want to be lifting that up to take a drink. It's too much work to take a drink. Okay, why are you gummy 6? What happened? What did I say this time? Was it the talking about the hamster bottles? I'm having a lot of inside thoughts, I think, today. Water bottle's not heavy. If it's a 2-liter bottle, it is heavy, Shoga. Get strong. I don't even think I have anything here that's 2 liters to show you. But, like... Man, how much... Because this is 75 centiliters. It's a wine bottle. So it's not even a full liter. But this is still massive. Right? So a 2-liter bottle. It's heavy. I mean, to be fair, I also just get really annoyed by all the weights in our house because the amount of times I've accidentally kicked one. Because Green Man has, like, dumbbells and stuff, that he uses, and For some reason, they're just placed around our house in very nice, convenient spots where my foot tends to sweep out. And I'll just, like, kick it a little bit with my toe. And I can't move them. And then, you know, I forget about it 5 minutes later, and I decide it's not that big of an issue. But, I don't know. I feel like it's something to do with the weight placement as well. Because Kevin, back when he was 7 kilograms, or almost 7 kilograms, that was fine. But if you just give me like a if you just give me like a 7 kilogram dumbbell, it feels a lot heavier, and like I'd probably struggle a little bit to pick it up. And again, maybe that's just because, you know, with Kevin, you're holding him with 2 hands. Because he's too big to hold with 1 hand. You're holding him with like 2 hands, or he's like cupped. Whereas a dumbbell is just like in the 1. Actually, can I pick Kevin up with 1 hand? Come here, boy. Okay, don't just turn limp, please. That does not help. Wait. I'm trying not to hurt you. Okay, no, he's actually really heavy with 1 hand. But that's also because he's wiggling. Dude, I can show him off like one of those show cats. Look at the size on this one. Look at that nice spread. The nice bend. A very long breed. I don't know what they say. Why are you holding your tail up? Do you like... What? Okay, buddy. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Just sounds like a pinky toe incident waiting to happen. It is. Oh, look at that. No. Continue. Continue. It's okay. I wasn't making fun of you. Continue. Go back to cleaning yourself. Go back to cleaning yourself. Okay, he's shy. He does this a lot, where he'll start doing something cute, and then I make a noise or whatever, try to draw attention to it. And then he just stops doing it. He has a concept of shame. And I know it's probably because of what I did, because he'll look at me. He'll stop doing it and he'll turn to just stare at me. So it's obviously that he's doing it to spite me, because that's the only emotion he's capable of feeling. Stop! Stop! Ow, stop! Your toenails are long! Why did your toenails get so long? Cock him like a shotgun. Like that cat where they do that, and then the cat meows. Killed the big Chungus wyvern. We need to play more Monster Hunter Rise. We didn't play last weekend because my eye, and I wanted to play Monster Hunter Rise and actually be able to see with both of my eyeballs for long periods of time. So we didn't get to play that much last weekend, but we'll probably play this weekend. And I'm very excited! We haven't gotten very far, because the last time we played, we re-hunted a couple of the ones we've already hunted. The Uthduna, I think, is the one that we redid, because we just needed a little bit more materials for something. But now we're gonna go back to progressing. Kevin maybe is finally gonna learn how to put down a fucking shock trap. Can you do that for me? Can you put down a shock trap for once in your life? Can you help me trap the monsters? Or are you gonna be useless again? The only thing you do is draw aggro and use the bugs to heal me, but you don't even do it that often, and half the time you miss. What good are you? What's your purpose in life? Huh? Dragon Slayer's here! Hello! Welcome back! And then hello! Oop! Dude, I looked away from my cat for 2 sec- I turned to look at my cat for 2 seconds and people showed up. I can't just scold him in peace. Daxter, use it on Grabby. He doesn't put down traps! But also, welcome back, Anon. We're back now. We're streaming twice a week. Schedule's down below. We came back last week. We're gonna be doing just chatting, primarily. And for shorter 2-3 hour-ish segments, If there's a game, why are you staring at me like that? If there's a game we really want to play, ooh, why is he so creepy? If there's a game we really want to play, we'll still be playing it on Twitch. If there's a game I think that'll be really fun to have with chat, then we'll still be playing it. Otherwise, I just want to yap twice a week to people. So come in, tell me about your week, whatever. Or just listen to me yap, either way is acceptable. My cat only heals me when I'm already healing. Exactly! I'll step away to heal, and I'll start the animation to use the pot. And then my cat will come heal me. So it's useless. It's useless and it's wasting resources. You're a waste of resources, Kevin. Building some decks. Oh, there's, let me look up the actual name. The actual name of it, because the Steam sales are going on right now, guys. There's a game called, I think it's Roguelight Deck Builder. But it's literally that. You just build decks. Or, like, you hammer the nails in. It's like, listen, I don't know how to explain the game because it's a really weird concept. But, Green Man's really enjoying it, and I asked a question because I was memeing, and I was like, oh, is this the peak male enjoyment? And he was like, yes. So, if you want a game that resonates with your Oonga Boonga hammer hit nail brain, apparently, get Roguelite Deck Builder. I've just been using it as, he'll play it and stream it to me, and I've just been using it as background noise, because the sounds are nice. Pretty epic, very meta. Yee! There's little guys. Little guys. But yeah, there's some interesting game concepts that are coming out nowadays, like the game about digging a hole. Even though that was a shorter one, it was still nice. I kind of wish it had more stuff just with the actual digging, because funny enough, I just liked the manual labor part of it. I didn't like the ending segment. I liked diggy hole, and that was about it, and mining resources, which probably tells me I should just play Minecraft more often, but, you know. I've also gotten back into playing puzzle games recently. I can't say I've gotten necessarily any better at them, but I have gotten back into playing them. Like, I noticed that the Layton games, the Professor Layton, a lot of those games are on mobile now, like on Google Play Store and probably the Apple App Store as well. They have a lot of the Layton games, and I forgot how fun and just well put together and designed the Layton games actually are. Because, yeah, it's not like, you know, some AAA whatever game, but they're just good games. Like, they're good for what they are, and they're, you know, things work. That's the main thing. Things work. But the one I've been playing is the... It doesn't actually tell me what it is, because the thumbnail just says Layton. Ugh, I don't want to have to go to Google Play to figure out which one I downloaded. But no, I've been getting back into playing those. At some point, I want to go back and replay 999, 9 persons, 9 hours, 9 doors. I want to replay that, and I want to replay Virtue's Last Reward. Not so much Zero Time Dilemma, because that's still a bit more recent. But I do want to go and replay the first 3 of the Zero Escape series. Things used to just work. Yeah, things used to just work. Oh! And Off! Because Off is getting remastered for the Nintendo Switch. And I don't know if you guys remembered, but we played that on the stream years ago because it's my favorite RPG Maker game, or just probably one of my favorite games ever. It formed so much of my personality, I think. And I first played it back when there was no official English version, and the English version was just a fan-made mod. I played that back in, like, 2013. And... maybe 2013? I actually can't remember. Whatever, I played it a really long time ago. Because one of my friends who played the French version, because I lived in Paris at the time, told me about it, and he was like, yeah, there's an English thing you can download and install, and I was like, oh, cool. And I played it, and that formed so much of my teenage years personality, and probably still my current personality. I don't know how much it still has an impact on me, but definitely a lot of my high school years were formed by the game Off. And, you know, it's getting a Switch remaster, which I'm very excited about. I am slightly upset that we don't get the original soundtrack remastered, because Elias doesn't really have much to do with the project anymore. But Toby Fox is doing the new soundtrack. Yeah, Toby Fox. That's the reason why Toby Fox is doing the new soundtrack, because it was such a huge inspiration for Undertale, and he's always been a fan of it. And he's done a really good job, because off music is really hard to recreate without literally just sounding like copies of the original soundtracks, because it's such a unique, like, a lot of the person Elias who composed the original soundtrack, it's such a unique style that it's really hard to recreate and fit in a way that works. But Toby Fox has done it really well. And a lot of the thematics and symbolism used for a lot of like the areas, for like the background tracks and stuff, are also still there, which is a really nice. I was trying to figure out how to phrase things without spoiling specific like plot details, because if you haven't played Off, I definitely recommend going in and playing it, just as a new experience, because it's genuinely really good. If you liked Undertale at all, you will like Off. Unless the parts you liked about Undertale were the more cutesy, Tumblr-y aesthetics, then probably not, because Off is very surrealist and weirdly grimy. Wild is getting remastered, as it should. Okay, to be fair, it's one of those games that, yes, it never really took off in terms of like public opinion and well-knownness, but the community it did have persisted, and, you know, they weren't very vocal, but they were very dedicated, and they all really loved Off. So, you know what I mean? It's like a cult game. It's literally a cult classic, where, you know, the community it has played it, loved it, and then, you know, has stayed in love with it all these years. And, you know, they still make art, they still post the subreddit and whatever. There's a lot of Japanese fans, surprisingly. That's what I've noticed on Twitter, especially with the remaster stuff going around. There's a lot of Japanese fans of Off. And maybe that's just because it's an RPG Maker game? But I was a bit surprised. Okay, actually, it does have themes of like the corporate overworkism, and some of the boss fights are literally managers of a company, essentially. So I guess that does make sense for an overworked culture. Which I think this could have changed. I don't think it has. But wasn't it, I'm pretty sure a few years ago Australia was also on the list of like overworked societies. I'm pretty sure it was like up there, which was really funny. And the only reason I vaguely know about it is because it was a talking point at, you know, not at a convention, but do you guys have work talking points? Right? Like, you see something online or you experience something and it gets filed away in your head with the notion of like, oh, I can talk about this at work. Or, oh, next time they ask me like what I did, I can talk about this. You know what I mean? Like, you almost just have corporate cue cards. Or like if you know, you have like work safe topics or like funny stories, so when, you know, people are talking about stuff, you can chime in and join the conversation. But you have to open the little filing cabinet of like work notes. And again, maybe that's something that's literally just me. Who knows? I very quickly learned that the way I file things away in my head is odd. You might be talking to a wall with me. It's not necessarily talking to a wall. I guess, no, actually, no, I genuinely have met people that are so... It's not even stoic at that point. It's almost like they just somehow shut down every single conversation. And not even in a rude way. It's like they just suck out any sort of steam that was accruing. Like, any sort of traction a conversation was getting, they just somehow with their energy or like their lack of conversational skills just managed to completely dry the entire thing out. I'm not a conversation starter, I'm a conversation keeper. I can keep a conversation going if I have to. Yeah, but do you know how to end a conversation? Because I feel like a lot of times that's the hard part, is figuring out how to be like, oh, I'm done now, and then just leave, right? Because sometimes you're talking to someone and you just want to stop talking to them. But it's hard to do it in a way that feels polite still, without just being like, I'm done with this conversation, goodbye. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's easy for me. Is it easier for you to do in a way that's not rude, though? That's the thing. Did I ever finish my statement earlier about the bunny ears? Because I feel like we were talking about the bunny ears and then something else happened and I literally just got distracted. But anyway, the more I wear this beanie on stream, the more I change my opinion about the lop ears. I remembered again because I looked at my viewfinder. The more I've changed my opinion about lop ears, because when I thought about buying like fur bunny ears to wear on stream or like to wear to conventions or whatever, I always thought the ones that were up look a lot better. But it's really hard to find creators who make ones that are up, because a lot of them just do the lop ears because it's probably cheaper and easier material-wise, and structural-wise, and for shipping. But actually, the lop ears don't look as bad as I kind of thought they would on me. I'm kind of growing on the lops. What do we think, chat? Do we like the lops or do we like the having to sink down in my chair to get on frame? I need to fix the blanket that's over my chair. I have this blanket on my chair for the longest time, like the past few years, because this chair is molting. It was just a really cheap IKEA office chair, and the leather on the chair is like peeling off, and I wore a light colored shirt one time, and I got up, and pieces of the chair were stuck to my shirt. They had fused to my shirt. So now I have this throw blanket over it, so that doesn't happen anymore. I should just get a new chair, but not gonna happen. It's fine with the blanket, so why would I? I think that I managed to get all the shirt pieces off after like a wash or two, but still, that's ridiculous. Those kind of chairs always start peeling. Yeah, it's like whatever pleather material they use. I don't know, it's probably plastic, honestly. But whatever material they use, it always just starts flaking off. It's like this and the type of dye that they use on t-shirts. Like sometimes when you buy like printed graphic t-shirts, it's not even like, oh, it starts fading. I'm fine with the ones that fade. That's like a normal process of just owning anything. Things are gonna fade with time. But the ones that start to like flake and get like patchy, I don't like those types of shirts. Cause like this is like it hasn't started patching yet. But it kind of feels like it's the type of thing that is going to, and I'm a little bit worried about it. But it's fine so far. And I don't wear this shirt that often. Or at least, you know, I don't do anything intensive in this shirt. I pretty much just use it as a house shirt. Because the same way that I am with stuff from small businesses, I'm the same way with, like, merch, weirdly enough. Like, especially band merch. Like, this is from Bring Me the Horizon, from their ammo tour. Ammo tour? I think this one was from ammo. But from their ammo tour. And I, like, don't wear it outside very often. I think I've worn it outside, like, 3 times. Other than that, I wear it in the house because I'm nervous that something's gonna happen to it. Especially because this is probably, like, one of the band merch that I own that I genuinely still enjoy and think is a really cool and nice design without it being band merch. Because there's some other stuff I have, but it's more like, that's very obviously band merch. Where, you know, that has like the logos or like even just like the band's name or whatever on it. How do you guys feel about that type of merch? Because I feel like when bands or, you know, brands even, or content creators, when they put out merch, there's 2 types. There's the types that are like very obviously merch, like branded, and then there's the ones that are like fashion aesthetic, more symbolist. Because, yeah, it has the logo for the album on it, but that's about it. There's nothing else that's like, you know, Bring Me the Horizon or like Ammo Tour or whatever. Even on the back, it's just black. But that's like the two merch camps that I see people do. Which I understand both directions, but I kind of like the ones that are a design that like I could wear out and not have someone try to talk to me. Because the few times I've worn merch that's very obviously merch outdoors, I feel like I don't want the interactions of people being like, "Oh, your shirt's from blah blah blah." Like, do you vote? And then they just start talking about it, and I was like, "No, this was not a way for me to connect with friends. I just like the clothes. I don't want the stranger interaction." Cuz like, yeah, having more friends would be nice, but I don't want to be bothered when I'm outside in public. If someone recognizes my Carmelita Fox shirt, I know what they are. To be fair, I have seen some people wearing stuff that I recognize. Like, I'll see someone wearing like a, you know, like a jacket or a shirt or whatever. I'm like, oh, I recognize that. But because of what it's from, I don't want to go up and say anything to them. And I can't think of any examples at the moment, but there has been times where I've seen someone else wearing merch, I recognize it, but I don't want to go up to them and say anything because I don't want them to know that I'm also connected and know about whatever thing that they're representing. I rarely get content creators' clothes. I prefer clothes that look slick. What do you mean that looks slick? Oh, like the ones that are like fashion, more aesthetic based? That's what I mean. That's the ones that's the one I'm talking about, where I don't like the ones where it's like, you know, logos and brands everywhere. Because, like, yes, I understand that you kind of want your merch to be promoty a little bit, but also just have cool designs. That's what I want. Clothes that you can actually, like, wear in public. That's the thing. I wanna get use out of it. Because it's the same thing with, a lot of the people now who do, like, Japanese streetwear, like, anime aesthetic type clothing. Like, artists that start their own brands. I've noticed that a lot more, where they're just kind of designing the art pieces, but a lot of them, especially in the anime space, are not public appropriate. Or, like, they're things that I couldn't imagine normal people wanting to wear in public. And I say normal as in, like, you know, they're into anime, manga, whatever, but obviously they're not gonna wear a jacket and go to the mall that has, like, giant anime honkers on it. That's what I mean. Yes, there are people who would do that, but, they're normally a specific type of person that probably shouldn't go out in public to begin with. And I don't necessarily mean, like, going to, like, a party or whatever. No, I mean, if you're going to, like, a mall, or, like, like, a very public space like that, or, like, just going to walk around the city, don't wear that. Please. Because I get secondhand cringe seeing it, and I don't want secondhand cringe, thank you very much. But again, maybe that's just a me thing. Is that too policey? To be like, hey, maybe don't be cringe in public. Or at least not in my vicinity. Because I don't want to be associated with the cringe. I want to be close enough to watch it, but I don't want to be close enough to get dragged into it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see it and then have, like, a family member that I'm out with be like, hey, that shirt's from the thing that you like, isn't it? I don't want that. Or be like, isn't that a character from one of your animes? Dude, hitting them with the, oh, isn't that the character from one of your video games? That's how you know you get old. If you ever have to hit someone with the, isn't that from one of your, and then just blank mass category? That's the thing. That's the benchmark. The older you get, the less you care about anime titties on your shirt. Dude, I'd love to see a retirement community full of like 70, 80-year-olds with just like the ahegao sweaters and the ahegao like onesies and hoodies. Just like in my Japanese animes. I always kind of hated that as a kid, getting the like, oh, isn't that from one of your mangas? That was the worst. It always made me like shrivel into myself a little bit. Like obviously they were just trying to connect with me, but every time I heard it, I was just kind of like, yeah. It's not great. Grandpa and Goku threads. Dude, those dudes that just wear the like parts of the cosplay just out in their normal street clothes. Just imagine a retirement community full of people doing that. Or you know how like now they have the retirement villages that are like kind of apartment complexes? Imagine that, but it's the convention hotel. Like imagine a retirement community and it's just the Dragon Con hotel. Like what those hotels are like at night. But just 70 or 80-year-olds instead. You got the people with 100 nuggets on the floor, eating them because they ordered too many and just offering them to whoever happens to walk by. You got the 80-year-olds like Naruto running down the hallway, but they can't really walk anymore, so they have their arms behind them in their motorized wheelchairs. This is a wild visual. That being said, I have a small bladder, so I'm going to the bathroom again. And it's an ad break anyway, so who cares? Those of you that have like a connected bathroom, like an ensuite to your room, or just, you know, maybe you live alone and don't necessarily care. Do you guys close the door to the bathroom? Right? Like if there's no one else in your house, or if you're, you know, going to the ensuite in the middle of the night, do you close the door? No, right? Why would you? I don't think it's a weird thing to keep the door open. No, I always close it. Why do you close the door, Adam? Like, if it's not a matter of, like, someone walking in on you, why would you close the door? I feel like that's just not a waste of time, because it doesn't really take that long to close and open a door. But I don't know, it's just like an extra step you don't have to do. Maybe it's drafty to keep them out. No, if there's no one else, obviously don't keep the door open if you're hosting guests in your house. You know, your parents have all their friends over. Don't go start peeing with the door open. I mean, like, it's not a concern of keeping anybody out. You don't have to worry about keeping someone out. Or, you know, keeping your modesty. Why would you close the door? Yeah, but they could get in. Okay, I think that's more of a problem with, like, people breaking into your house. That's not the question here. Unless you constantly live in fear of burglars, I guess. Or, you know, people inviting themselves over. Which, first of all, the people that get an emergency key to someone's house and just let themselves in are insane to me. Right? Like, even if I was given a key to someone's house for, like, emergencies or for, like, whenever, I would never just go to their house and walk into it. I'd always, like, call or text them first, at least, and be like, hey, like, did you want to hang out today? Can I come over? Right? Because I've seen a lot of people talking, like, even if they're just passively telling stories about, like, their interactions with people, or, like, their friends, or, you know, what they did on their weekend or whatever. And I'm noticing a lot of people seem to just walk into other people's houses with no prior notice, sometimes. Family never cared about if we see each other naked? Okay, that's a your family thing, Shoka. Only when I'm sitting on the toilet. Can I come over and use your bath? Dude, imagine you just get a call from your friend being like, hey, I'm in the area, can I just come over and use your bathroom real quick? To be fair, I wouldn't be surprised, especially living in Sydney, because a lot of people live pretty far outside of the city in Sydney. So if you live closer to a city, I feel like it would be the thing to just have people, you know, want to crash at your place or whatever. Yeah, my one friend in the group has the house everyone gathered at. Yeah. Because one of our friends, he just, like, or one of my friends, I should say, co-workers, not really friends, whatever. Like, it felt like almost every weekend they would just travel into the city and just stay in the city for the weekend, just crashing at a friend's house. Because they would just get drunk and, you know, stay the night. So I feel like it very much depends where you live, whether people go back to their own houses or there's just, like, the communal house. Pizza Hut has these, I don't know if they, actually no, they probably do have them in America. Like the big cookie pizzas that they do at Pizza Hut. They have them here, and they have a chocolate chip one. And they have a fairy bread one. Which, if you don't know what fairy bread is, it's an Australian thing. But essentially, it's just, for this one, it's the cookie with like a ton of sprinkles on it. Like the hard, tiny, round sprinkles. And we ordered the fairy bread one, because the fairy bread one's really good. But they accidentally gave us a chocolate chip one. Obviously, I'm still gonna eat it anyway. But I'm gonna be mad about it. Although I will say, I much, much highly prefer when they accidentally give me someone else's order than if they just missed stuff in my order. Does that make sense? Like, if we ordered the cookie and they just forgot it, I'd, like, that sucks. I'm probably gonna complain and get a cookie. But if we order the cookie and they gave us a different cookie, I'm not as upset about it. We didn't do sprinkles here, we just did cinnamon and sugar. Is Pizza Hut the one that has the collaboration with Cinnabon? Because I remember when I lived in America, I would always get the Cinnabon, like, bites. I think that's Pizza Hut, right? Or is it like Domino's? I feel like Domino's never gets the good collaborations. But it doesn't even feel like they're that much smaller of a brand than Pizza Hut. They also don't do sweet cream cheese here. Like in America, you can buy the strawberry cream cheese. Can't buy that here. I used to love the strawberry cream cheese with my bagels. So now I just get the normal cream cheese and I mix in cinnamon and sugar into the cream cheese and use that on my bagels. Which a lot of people think is weird, because here bagels are a savory thing a lot of the time. I think they should be sweet. Maybe that's just me, because a lot of people make like bagel sandwiches and stuff, but I think bagels should be sweet. Just make, oh you do. Yeah, I just make my own sweet cream cheese. I could probably try to make a strawberry cream cheese. I think I'm just a little bit too lazy to do that. And I feel like it's not going to taste the same, and it's going to have like chunks of strawberry. I don't want the chunks. Like, even when I buy jelly or jams to make like PB&J, I don't like the, like, you know how a lot of the fancy expensive jellies will have chunks of the fruit inside to show you that it's like actual fruit puree? I don't like that. I don't want the chunks of fruit. Just give me the jelly. I don't care if it's like a not I'm choking. Oh god, I'm choking on the cookie. I should probably stop talking. Ugh. We're fine. We're fine. Ugh. I don't care if it's fake fruit. I just don't want the chunks. Because obviously I'll choke on the chunks. bro is bad at eating. It's because I'm talking at the same time. I need to stop yapping. Now you have cookie chunks in your lungs. Oh, you know the thing I hate about, like, coughing? If you have something in your mouth especially? You know sometimes, and this happens after you vomit as well, if you've ever been, like, really sick enough to, like, throw stuff up. You know sometimes stuff gets lodged, like, it feels like it's lodged in the back of your skull. Right? Like, it feels like it's, like, back here somehow. Like, in the center. That's what I don't like. And, like, it's almost like you can taste it a little bit, too. Does anyone else experience that, or has experienced that? Where they can just feel they have a chunk, like, stuck in a brain cavity or something? Sounds dangerous? No. Okay, I'm not the crazy one here. You never have, like, just... Like, imagine you're throwing up, right? Your head's in the toilet, you're throwing up. Stuff's coming out. You never have stuff just, like, come out of your nose as well? And then, like, stuff is, like, stuck in there? At least for, like, an hour or so? Maybe get that checked out? Why are none of you agreeing with me on this? I can feel what's between those two loops in the back of your throat. Yeah, but it's not like the throat. It's, like, up towards your, like, sinuses. Because it's not like it's down here. Because, like, your throat is, like, this bit. It's not like it's down here. I haven't thrown up in a long time, but I don't think it comes out of my nose. Well, you obviously haven't thrown up hard enough. You haven't been sick enough, Adam. Get sick. Get sicker. Someone give this man the plague. Don't actually. If that's a possible thing. I'm not purposely wishing the plague on someone. Sounds like you have brain damage. Okay, hear me out, right? It's not that weird. You obviously just haven't gotten sick enough to experience it. Patient Zero in the apocalypse? I think I would probably die really quickly. If we had some type of zombie outbreak. Like, I just feel like I would not be lasting very long. I don't think I want to last very long either. Like, I think once it became obvious that this was a zombie outbreak and people are dying by, like, the millions, that's it for me. I'm not gonna- I've seen these movies. I'm not gonna wait 50 years for a possible cure just to get torn apart painfully. You don't even like going outside? Okay, that's beside the point. Oh, dude, the new 28 Years Later movie. I'm so excited for that to come out. I watched 28 Days Later as a kid, and 28 Weeks. I didn't really like 28 Weeks when I was a kid, but it's kind of grown on me. And the trailer for 28 Years Later was so good, and the audio was trending on TikTok and made a lot of really good TikTok edits. People made really good edits out of the Boots audio. But I'm excited for the movie to come out. I think it's gonna be good. Haven't seen the second movie. It's okay. It's definitely grown on me, but when I saw it originally, I didn't like it that much. And there's a lot... It's one of those movies where there's a lot of really dumb decisions that you kind of just have to ignore for the sake of the movie. Like, there's a couple really major ones that you kind of just have to be like, well, I guess. I think that's the thing that a lot of people complain about with it, though. It's still worth a watch. I don't know how connected they're gonna be. Because, to be honest, 28 Weeks and 28 Days wasn't really that connected either. So, there's no precedent or, like, timeline they have to follow, really. Which I guess bodes well for my hopes for the movie, because that means they're not necessarily having to keep to continuity of anything. And not having to continue, you know, worry about, like, any of that, and they can just actually create something good in the universe. Because I feel like that's the reason a lot of sequels tend to be worse, especially if they bring in different writers. It's hard to keep going with someone else's story, I feel like, most of the time. I'm trying to find... I'm just realizing that I don't actually have access to... It doesn't actually seem like I have access to the deck building game, looking at it. Because I was gonna look up the actual title. There it is, yeah, Roguelight Deck Builder. It's $4 Australian right now. So, like, $2 American. And apparently it's good if you like to ooga booga things with hammer. I can feel the chunk in the back of my sinuses. This is terrible. Ah! That was the worst experience I could have possibly had. Actually, no. I can't remember a time where I've genuinely actually choked on food before. Actually, I don't think I have, at least. As far as I'm aware of, unless I blocked out in my memory. Try snorting water, maybe that clears it. Oh, good old waterboarding. I'll just tuck my face into my shirt, just pour the water in. Back from eating chicken salad. I want a really good pasta salad right now. Like an actual proper pasta salad. And they do sell pasta salad at the grocery store near our house. However, I am slightly scared to ever try it. Because one time I saw a post of someone being like, yeah, I really love the pasta salad at Kohl's, but why does it make my mouth feel funny? And a lot of other people were saying, yeah, the pasta salad just does that. You kind of just learn to put up with it. Why is this pasta salad making all these people's mouths feel funny? What is in it? I don't want to find out. I don't want to try it. Even though a lot of people buy it, and a lot of people say it's good. But what is doing this to people? Imagine being allergic and not thinking about it. I did try, I tried Celsius the other day, like the energy drink. I tried a Celsius, and I took a sip, and then I was like, this has the same thing Monster has, because my tongue is starting to feel funny, and it's starting to go numb. So, remember when we found out on stream that I was allergic to Monster Energy, guys? Turns out, Celsius has the same thing. The vinegar? Oh, and the pasta salad? I guess. But I don't think it would necessarily be a special type of vinegar that's used. The tranquilizers. Well, whatever's in Monster Energy, I'm very slightly allergic to, and apparently also Celsius. But that's fine, I don't really need energy drinks. I don't necessarily have a problem staying awake if I need to stay awake. It's just that most of the time I get bored, so I take a nap. Right? Does that make sense? Like, I fall asleep very easily out of boredom, but if I have to stay awake, I can stay awake. But like in cars, I don't need to be awake in a car. I'm not the one driving. I'm asleep. If the car ride is longer than 30-ish minutes, maybe even 25 minutes. If it's longer than like a 25-minute car ride, chances are I'm probably gonna close my eyes at some point. I can entertain myself pretty well. So can I. I just dissociate. But if I don't have to be awake, I would prefer not to be awake. Right? Like, if there's nothing I necessarily want to do, like, it's not like, oh, I want to play a game right now. But if there's no reason, I might as well be napping. I have the option to nap. Why wouldn't I nap? Dude, my favorite types of nap are in the middle of the day, especially in the winter, when it's like cold, and then you just have like a heated blanket plugged in, like one of the heavy ones, and you're just laying there, just flat on your back with like your arms and legs kind of spread out in like a gingerbread man pose, and you just have this heavy blanket on top of you, like covering up to your shoulders, and your head is just like whatever, and you're just laying there on your back, and it's the best experience. You're just pinned down like one of those like bug displays. I sleep when I'm tired. Do you never just like nap out of boredom? Do you guys not do that? Do you not take boredom naps? Because there's some people who eat when they're bored, or like snackers. Like if they get bored, they just like snack on things, even if they're not hungry. It's the same thing for napping. Like you're not tired, but just want to take a nap. No, I just find something to do. Okay, Adam. Not all of us are proactive in finding things to do. Not all of us want to do things. Maybe that's just a me issue. Maybe I'm just lazy. Too little time for doing stuff as it is. I guess, yeah, it depends what else ails you. Actually no, I get that. I feel like I have my time in blocks in my head. Like, the reason we haven't been playing Marvel? The reason we haven't been playing Monster Hunter Wilds for the past, like, few days, is because it's one of those things where, like, things take up different chunks. And for me, Monster Hunter Wilds, if I'm sitting down to play it, I want, like, a big chunk. It blocks off a big chunk of time in my head, which is the reason why we haven't been playing it these past few days. Because, for example, Green gets home, I have dinner ready, so then we eat, and then we play a little bit of game, and then we go lay down and watch Leverage. And that's like the block chunks in my head. But, so I have like this little window of space for game in my head where it's like, oh, this is game time. But, you know, Monster Hunter Wilds time in my head is like, so it doesn't fit in the slot. It doesn't fit in the slot. When you said blocks, it randomly make us think of 3DS save data. I miss the 3DS cartridges. They were always, like, I don't know, something about the shape of the, or not 3DS. Something about the shape of the Game Boy cartridges is so just pleasant to me. It's very nostalgic. The shape of the Game Boy cartridges, Littlest Pet Shops, and then, like, Bakugan are the three things that just instantly just, like, teleport me back to middle school. GB or GBA. Were they different sizes? Were they different, Kingdom versus GB? Were the cartridges different sizes? Oh yeah, they had the square ones! I forgot about the square ones. Yeah, I completely forgot about the square ones. No, I mean the Game Boy Advanced, the little rectangle ones. GBA had the little overhang. Yeah, the little overhang on the GBA ones. Bakugan and Beyblade. I never really got into Beyblades as a kid, but I was definitely a Bakugan kid. I think we ended up getting them banned at school because we would just spend our lunch break with playing with our Bakugans, which I don't understand why they wouldn't let us do that. Because if you think about it, we're not bothering anyone. And we're on our lunch break. It's not like we're disrupting class. We're sitting at the table during our lunch break. Why won't you let us play with our Bakugans? Right? Like, the lunch ladies would always be like, oh, put those away and eat. Or, you know, put those away, like, eat your lunch, blah, blah, blah. What do they care if we choose not to eat it, huh? My middle school banned silly bands. My middle school also banned silly bands. We got Bakugan banned. We got silly bands banned. We got those wooden clothespins banned. We got Smarties banned, the candy. We got those banned at our school because a lot of the kids were crushing them up and snorting them. So that kind of gives you the indication of the type of middle school I went to. So those got banned. And I remember at one point I was eating them because I liked the Smarties candy. Like, I actually just genuinely enjoyed them as candy. And I remember one time I got off the bus coming home, and one of, like, the people in my grade who got off the bus ahead of me, like, turned around and he slapped them out of my hand. He's like, "What are you doing with those?" And I was like, "Dude, I was just eating them." He's like, what are you can't do that anymore." And I'm like, I was literally just fucking eating them. I like them. They're a candy. And now they're on the ground. Fuck you. So I don't know what kind of power trip he was on. Pixie sticks were ours. I don't remember why pixie sticks never caught on at my school. Maybe they just got banned before I was even aware of it. But I don't... As far as I can remember, that was never a thing at ours. It was the Smarties. Because I think there was some news story about people getting maggots in their nose. Or, like, kids getting, like, fly larvae and stuff. And, like, rotting out their whatever from just all this sugar that was going up there. Which kind of just goes to show you the children yearn for the worms. The nice brain worms. What? Do you guys not remember this? Was this literally just like a Washington 2008 thing? Or like 2011 thing? This could not have just been Washington. I refuse to believe this was only my area. And like only my local news picked up on it. Kids were getting like maggots in their nose and sinuses. Why is Pepe so big on stream? Because it's only an emote. The ones where there's emotes and no other text, it like makes them bigger like Discord does. Or at least this chat overlay I have, it functions like Discord. I missed that. Wasn't in school in 2008. And you didn't watch the news either? I guess if you don't have siblings, you'd probably stop knowing what the kids are up to. Nowadays, it's a little bit easier because you see all of it on TikTok. Like when the kids were in the bathrooms, like vaping and kicking down, like, what was it? Like devious licks or whatever? Whatever that trend was, where people were actually just destroying and stealing school property. I remember one time, the same middle school, by the way, there was a snake in the boys' toilets. Because I remember a kid came out and went to the teacher and was like screaming, was like, "Oh, there's a snake." And then they blocked it off. And I remember being kind of upset that I wasn't allowed to go in and see the snake. Because I was like, oh, I want to see the snake. But no, apparently there was an actual snake in the boys' toilets. I don't know if it ever got fully confirmed. But I do know they blocked off that bathroom and like a couple teachers went in. Like in and out. And later in the day too, there's still some teachers going in there, so who knows? You don't need- why does the Peppy Concerned emote always come out when I talk about my childhood, huh? Also, I realized I pronounced it Peppy. Whatever happened with the Pepe guy? Didn't he try to, like, file a lawsuit or something? Or file, like a copyright? They were keeping it to themselves. Yeah, they were playing with the snake all by themselves. That's not good phrasing. Because I feel like he was trying to sue Twitch, or it was some sort of lawsuit about the use of the Pepe. But I think everyone just laughed him off the internet, and then he turned Pepe into like an NFT. I'm pretty sure he turned it into an NFT. Media tried to make it a symbol for racism. Oh, I remember that, yeah. Okay, no, I remember that whole thing. Was that before or after he tried to copyright it? Probably before, right? That would make sense logically. Like, oh, people are trying to turn my thing into a symbol for something I don't agree with. I'll copyright it so they can't do that. But I feel like he probably tried to do it afterwards. Wait, no. I'm mixing up the order of things in my head, I think. Dude, I have a charging cable on my floor for like the controllers and everything. Because I have like my Xbox controller and other stuff, and like the old Vive controllers. The charging cables are here, and Kevin's rug is here. Normally, he doesn't care, but now he's pulled out one of the cables because I think he was maybe playing with it because it's further onto his carpet than it normally is, and he's laying on top of it. But the way it looks, because I don't know, just the way it looks, I thought he had wrapped the cable around his neck for a second. And I had to like actually look to see that he was just sleeping and it's kind of like curled a little bit, but it's not actually like looped. I'm gonna move you, buddy. I'm gonna move you and I'm gonna move this cable. I don't like that. Come here. Come on. Oh, give me a big stretch. Good boy. Come on. Oh. Also try to do that to Mac tonight. What is Mac tonight? Succeeded somewhat. Is it another, like, emote thing? That was his back foot. That was so cute. That was so cute that he did that. Can you play Rocket? I have never touched Rocket League in my life, and I don't intend to start. Dude, I didn't end up playing that mode in Marvel Rivals where it was essentially just Rocket League, like the Spring Festival event. I didn't actually end up playing that because we were overseas and I didn't have access to my PC. So I haven't even played Rocket League in Marvel Rivals. Amaka's mascot? Haven't heard about Rocket League in a while. I think it's still getting updates, right? As far as I'm aware of, people still play it, obviously. Yes? Played quite a bit of Lucio Ball and Overwatch. I remember Lucio Ball. I remember back when Overwatch came out and everyone was playing it. Didn't they add Overwatch Classic now? Like proper Classic, like with original Mercy ult and everything? Had a higher rank than a normal comp. I don't really play rank in much of anything. I think Rivals is about the only game I touch rank in, and that's only because I'll play rank if I want the skin. Other than that, I don't like rank. I don't like the pressure that rank adds. I just want to play a game. I don't want to play with people who are sweating or trying to climb. Because I'm also probably sweating and or trying to climb. I remember when Overwatch came out, then it came out again. Also, that could just be because I play support. And a lot of times that's, you know, all the shit gets piled onto us, so. There's only pressure if you care. Yes, and I do care, obviously. But I also just get really angry at the people who go into competitive and don't actually take it seriously. Which is a big problem that Rivals has been having. Where a lot of people just treat ranked like the normal game mode. So you get a lot of people try, at least the lower ranks. There's a lot of people who just treat it like the normal game mode, which is really frustrating. So we mostly just play quick play, unless there's, you know, whatever ranked skin we specifically really want. Then we'll play ranked for that season. Oh, little baby falling asleep while I rub his paws. Look at the little baby. Oh. You okay? Should I let you down? Should I let you down? Ranked is totally the best place to learn a new character. Look at how bald you are. You're just a ball. Look at how circular. Look at how compact. Okay, I'll put you down. He burped on me. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but he burped on me. I miss having a cat that lets me hold them. Aw, does Daxter not let you hold? Does Daxter not let you hold him? Oh wait, no, I have a feeling Daxter is the one that's dead. Did I say yeah. I forgot Daxter was the Ah! I'm sorry, Adam. My brain not so good. My brain not so good. As soon as I said it, I was like, wait a minute. Because for some reason I thought you had another older cat, but I'm getting my timeline mixed up. Never forget. Green's wallpaper on his phone is still Maushel. You'd think it would be me. Or, you know, Kevin. But no, his wallpaper is still Maushel. Listen, you guys know my memory is terrible, okay? That's been the longest running thing that we've been able to keep consistent on this stream. Is how bad my memory is. I don't even think I have a photo of Maushel still. I mean, I do, but it's probably in like a folder somewhere. Daxter was our oldest animal, now it's Isabella, the 12-year-old Chihuahua. I feel like with cats especially, there's like a threshold. I feel like they meet a threshold where it's like, they're old, and they're expected to die. Not expected, that sounds bad, but like, you know, it's reasonable for them to die. But then there's like an age cutoff, where if they get past that age, then it's like they're living forever out of spite at that point, right? Because you either see like people's cats that are like, oh, my cat's like 10 years old, or like, oh yeah, my cat's 20. Izzy is still pretty healthy right now. Yeah, it's really a gamble. I feel like it genuinely just depends on like the specific dog. I mean, obviously there's breeds and stuff that change the likelihood, but I think for the most part it just depends on that specific dog. Or cat. Yes, you. Where'd he go? Yes, you, Kevin. I feel like Kevin would try to outlive me out of spite if he could. Like, if he could control that, I feel like he would try to make it so that I go first. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he would push me over the edge of something if he had thumbs and was strong enough, but I think he would. I think he would be motivated enough to do that. Or at the very least, he wouldn't save me. Right? Well, what's the Batman thing? Where it's like, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you? Like, I don't remember the quote, but it's like the meme. It's a meme template. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's along those lines. Which is very accurate Batman logic, by the way. Because, like, yeah, he's not intentionally killing these people, but a lot of the things that they do, and we talked about this when we were playing Gotham Knights, remember? But it's like, yeah, they're technically not killing these people, but I guarantee you that guy just got his neck snapped. Like, there's no way he's surviving, right? Or it's like, ah, yeah, you didn't kill him, but you broke, like, 17 of his ribs, and also he's bleeding out pretty badly on the floor right now. And I don't think he's going anywhere with those 2 broken legs, so he's as good as dead. He already tried once and failed. Because we were thinking about that, like, again, with the show, Leverage that we're watching. There's a character named Elliot who's very much like a... They keep doing, like, Batman-esque things with him and, like, Batman logic and turning him into, like, an entity, which is a little bit funny. But it's like, oh, he doesn't kill people anymore. He's a good guy now. But at the same time, you see him take someone's, like, head and, like, bash his knee into their face and then, like, you know, snap their neck under his arm and toss him to the side. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't think that very audible snap was a guy getting knocked out. I think that was him dying. Like, you can tell, you can say as much as you want, like, oh, Batman's not killing people. That guy's not dead. He's dead. He's not healing. But to be fair, that's not like a new complaint. A lot of people have that sort of thing about Batman, especially. I think he probably gets it the worst, honestly, because he has that whole logic of like, oh, I don't kill people. Because he has that whole thing, he probably gets it a lot worse than the other superheroes do. But it's still kind of funny that that's just like constantly at this point, even the newspapers and whatever in Gotham, like the Gotham Gazette or whatever, are probably like, oh, I mean, we don't really keep count of the collateral deaths that he's caused. I feel like there was either a show or maybe it was like a YouTube sketch series, but it was set in the Marvel universe and it was people that worked in like insurance claims. It might have been a TikToker that made it. But it was some, I think it was a TikToker because I think it was some guy that was pretending to take insurance calls set in the Marvel universe. I think that was the whole thing. And I think it was probably a TikToker that was doing it. Because it sounds like a thing that's made for TikTok. I don't think it would have been a show. Sounds familiar? Yeah. I remember some of them being funny, but then I stopped watching them at a certain point. I don't necessarily remember why, but I just stopped watching them. Probably because they were getting repetitive, honestly. I mean, it could have been a show. I only vaguely remember a little bit of, like, the situations. So it could have been a show, and I only remember some parts that feel like TikToks. I'm surprised the migration to Xiaohongshu through the Red Note app, the Chinese version of TikTok, I'm surprised that didn't make a bigger impact. Probably because TikTok got unbanned in, like, less than a day. I feel like if they gave it a week, we probably would have had a little bit more permanent migration. But at the same time, those, like, 2 weeks where everything on TikTok was, like, Chinese spy jokes was kind of really funny. They do have a pretty funny sense of humor on that app. Should we do a stream that's literally just going through my TikToks? I don't know if you guys would think I'm insane for the types of content in my TikTok likes, or if it'll help you understand the way my brain works. But like, yes, maybe. I don't know if I'll curate a, like, put aside some of my likes into a file or literally just scroll through. I'm not gonna just scroll through them. I'll have to put them into like a folder or something to go through. But maybe we'll do that. We'll go through my TikTok. I'll show you my TikTok likes. It's gonna be the most deranged thing. And there's this one genre of content that I keep getting. And it's like really old people just having the time of their life. Like doing like weird stuff on TikTok. Like there's this one woman and she's like noticeably in her like 80s. She is old. But she's in like some fancy dress with like a bunch of TikTok filters on. Like the type of filters you see e-girls using. Or like the kawaii e-girls that have like the particle effects and everything. Those types of filters. And she's just doing like some like hand movements or whatever. Like she's like, oh, queen never hold in a fart. Queen let that go. And perfectly serious too. Fully serious. And then she like does this and it like sends out a really badly CGI'd like sparkle blast toward the camera. That's the type of genre of thing I've been getting. And I think it's so funny every single time I see it. But, you know, I show Greenway my TikToks. He doesn't seem to feel the same way. I think they're hilarious. I get that, or I get another genre of content that's like this guy, and he'll be filming his hand, and he has like a mug of coffee, like just a coffee mug, but in between his fingers, there's like 14 lit cigarettes still like with smoke coming out of him, and he's just like coughing into the mic, and it's, you know, he's just showing his like yard or whatever, which is massive cup of coffee and like 14 cigarettes. That's the two polar opposites I get on my the two north poles. No, the north and south pole of my TikTok. Cause I can't really call them polar opposites, but those are the two genres I get a lot, and I think they're hilarious, but no one else seems to agree. So I feel like at this point we're definitely gonna have to do a TikTok review. Not today. Not today. Maybe the Sunday stream will do. I'll put some of my TikToks into a folder. Because not all of them are good. A lot of them are just like cat videos, to be honest. A lot of them are just cat videos. A lot of them are cat videos. But we'll put some of the cat videos into the folder. And then maybe I'm not gonna say next stream, but one of the Sunday streams we'll do a TikTok review. It doesn't really work because it's 3 syllables, not 2. So I can't just do meme review. It's TikTok review. Wait, review is 2 syllables. Today is not my day, guys. Today is not a brain day. We don't have the brain cell today. I think Kevin took it. Do you guys tilt your head back, or do you just tilt the bottle? Because there's the people who just, like, tilt the bottle, and there's the people who, like, actually just tilt their entire head, and they keep their arm, like, straight. You know what I mean? Bottle? Yeah. I just tilt the bottle. But I do see people that, like, you know, they keep their arm steady, but they just tilt, like, everything goes back. Like, their arm, the bottle, their head. I just tilt the bottle. That being said, let gravity do the work. Exactly, let gravity do the work. See, again, campaigning back to my hamster drink bottle thing. That's a good idea. Gravity's doing the work for you. You just lay there, and you can suckle off the bottle like a hamster. Did you guys know hamsters are banned in Australia? Like, I'm legally not allowed to own a hamster here because they're considered an invasive species. They're considered an invasive species, and you're not allowed to own a hamster. They do not sell hamsters at pet stores here. They just don't exist in Australia. That's wild to me. But that being said, for today, shift over.